What's going on, Grizzlies fans? Welcome into another episode of Talkin Grizz. I'm Kelcey, and I'm joined by Jon Krawczynski, the senior writer of The Athletic. He covers the NBA, also, of course, the Minnesota Timberwolves. We appreciate you coming on once again, sir. How's your day going?
Going good, Kelcey. Thanks for having me again. Great to be back.
All right. I have a couple questions. I'm going to start with kind of a broad one for you. There's 7 games left for this T-Wolves team. They've won 6 of their last 9, including a couple over the Jazz, the Warriors, some good teams. How do you expect this season to play out, or the regular season to play out for Minnesota?
Yeah, Kelcey, they've kind of had a little dilemma, right? Because they started off the season so poorly and they had injuries. There's a lot of things that were involved in that. And so they got buried in the standings. And you get to this end of the season and you're saying, okay, now do we kind of fold up the tents and just try to get a great draft pick and regroup for next season? Or do you push forward and try and stack some wins and get some momentum? And they've gone the latter route. So they have Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell out there healthy together for the first time. And they really want to kind of develop some continuity and some chemistry and hope to build on something going into next year. So they're playing pretty well. They're playing very hard. They are not trying to dump games or like some of the other teams that you see out there right now. And they're just really trying to establish a little bit more of an identity and get to play. So they're going hard right now. And for these last 7 games, I think they're going to keep that up.
Yes. And so you mentioned Cat, and that was something that I'm always interested in as someone who's with the Grizzlies, because in the first 2 games that they faced off against each other, it was Cat and JV who had monster games, both of them with like big doubles. And as you said, I expect him to come out and have a really big game again against the Grizzlies in this third matchup. What do you like about seeing those 2 big guys going head to head?
Yeah, it's a fun kind of contrasting style because JV wants to be a wrestler, right? And he wants to be physical with you and he wants to take it to you and punish you. Cat is a little more finesse. He likes to shoot the 3. He kind of likes to operate with some agility in the post and kind of make passes and get his other teammates involved and then kind of get his shots when he can. And so you see them go against each other and they're both really, really talented. They both play incredibly hard. And it's kind of always just a matter of whose style is just going to prevail that night. And, when Cat is knocking down shots efficiently, he's really hard to handle. But I always feel like Memphis really gives the Timberwolves and Cat problems because they play such a burly bully ball style of game and they like to mix it up. And sometimes the physicality can bother the Wolves and Cat in particular. So what Cat has to do is kind of try and keep his calm and his composure. Sometimes he gets a little bit riled up when, if referees swallow their whistle. So we'll see how that part of it goes. They're both, incredibly productive, but they do it in different ways, which is always fun to see 2 big guys go at it in a little different way like that.
Let me bring up one more player for Minnesota that we hadn't brought up, and that is Anthony Edwards. Now, as a team right now that is led by someone who's young, who was number 2 last year, Anthony Edwards number 1 this year, I'm curious how you would rate his so far first year in the league and kind of, the impact that he's had on this team so far.
Yeah, it's been a little bit Ja-like in the matter of Edwards is obviously very talented player, but he's the thing that really kind of, I think, makes him encouraging for the Wolves for the future is like he's got this charisma about him. He's got this kind of personality and
he seems
swagger.
Hilarious.
Yes, he is. He's one of the funniest interviews in the NBA already, and players and teammates are really drawn to that. And so I think that's a huge quality for him going forward. He's just a real natural kind of dude that people like. Now, as a skill standpoint, he started out the season, he was a little rough. He was inefficient. He wasn't scoring at the rim. He wasn't shooting the ball particularly well. As the season has gone on, he's really kind of started to understand 2 things. One, what are the best shots to take? He's not forcing as many shots as he did earlier in the year, and so he's shooting a higher percentage. And then 2, he's figuring out how to finish in traffic. He is initiating contact, and when he gets to the rim, he's having more success there. And that makes him a really difficult cover. I mean, he has a good handle. He can get to the basket. When he hits his step back three, now he's going for 40, which we've seen him do against Phoenix. So there's going to be nights where he's not hitting the outside shot and where it's it's a little up and down, but he's rebounding a lot better. He passes the ball pretty well. So all in all, I think the Wolves feel really good about what they've seen from him as his first year is coming to a close.
All right. Now my very last question, and this kind of puts everything together. The Grizzlies, obviously, their next game is against the Wolves. They're looking right now to kind of solidify themselves in that play-in. The T-Wolves, like you said, trying to kind of get that momentum moving into next season and build that winning culture. What's your prediction for the game? The Wolves have lost the first two. Grizz have come out on top. Both like really want this win to start kind of like building stuff for furthering forward.
Yeah, I'm really going to be interested, Kelcey, to see how this goes because I don't think it's a secret. Like the Grizzlies have handled the Wolves really for the last couple of years. I mean, they just match up really well against them. They play incredibly hard, and they like to mix it up. And the Wolves have been shorthanded previously when they played the Grizzlies. Now they're a little bit closer to full strength. So I do think that the Timberwolves have kind of a chip on their shoulder to try
Grizzlies
and show.
have Jaren again now too.
And that's a big thing. So I would say, and I'm not just because I'm, this is a Grizzlies audience, but I still think that with all the things that are riding on the Grizz going forward and with how they typically match up and play the Wolves, if I were a betting man, and I'm not, but if I were, I would probably put my money on the Grizzlies in this one.
All right. Well, I am excited to see how it goes because like you said, this T-Wolves team is not rolling over and giving up. They are wanting this one. So it's going to be a really interesting one. I appreciate your time again so much, Jon. Thank you for coming on.
Anytime, Kelcey. Thanks for having me.
All right. And Grizzlies fans, you can always get more on grindcitymedia.com.